And our top stories tonight, those quarantined students from St. Jude's Primary given an opportunity of an alternative exam. Health officials respond to why people are not taking the vaccine. Local water sports operators remaining hopeful about their industry. And coming up in sports, Windies looking to conclude their T20 series with a 4-1 win over the Aussies.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom. Thank you so much for joining us. In our top story tonight, the 27 Class 4 students from St. Jude's Primary, currently in quarantine, will be given the opportunity to write an alternative common entrance paper. Word of this from Acting Deputy Chief Education Officer with responsibility for schools, Glenn Price, at a press conference this morning.
What we have decided is that not only the students from St. Joe's, but any child, any Class 4 child, who is scheduled to write their exam on the 28th, and for whatever reason, whether they're in quarantine, whether they have just been released from quarantine, and if the parents, in their opinion, feel that the child has suffered trauma and is not mentally ready to write this examination, we will make arrangements for the child or the children to write an alternative exam in the future. When I say the future, somewhere between the 28th of July and normally the 1st of September. That is normally the time span into where we will make arrangements for these alternative exams.
Given the recent COVID-19 directives from the Ministry of Health, the Education Ministry has been forced to delay the start of its Bounce Back summer school program. It was originally pitched to provide reinforcement to students because of the disruptions brought by the pandemic. Well, Acting Chief Education Officer Joy Adamson says the new date will be announced in keeping with the developments.
Based on the recent directives from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, there are to be no summer camps for the next 2 weeks, this week and the following week. This means that the identified start date of July the 19th for the Infants A and Infants B would now have to be adjusted. But the new date will be influenced by the future directive from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The ministry cannot state a date now until we get further direction. If the restriction for summer camps is extended, then the Ministry of Education will still put measures in place for these students who we know would have lost a lot, to ensure that when they return to school, there is time allocated for some form of remediation.
Whenever it gets started, Ms. Adamson says 2,400 students will take part under the instruction of hundreds of volunteers at 13 locations.
To date, 354 persons have registered. These include 168 teachers and 186 non-teachers, made up of retired educators, students from Erdiston Teachers Training College, university graduates, social workers, and psychologists, and other persons interested in giving back service to the nation. A brief training session is planned next week for any non-teaching volunteers. These persons will be paired with teachers to assist with the instruction and delivery.
The new COVID-19 cases remain in double digits. This time, there are 11 cases being reported out of 1,213 tests conducted by the Besto Santos Public Health Lab yesterday. They are 3 males and 8 females. There are currently 123 people in isolation. Now, since March last year, Barbados has recorded 4,241 confirmed COVID-19 cases, comprising 2,056 females and 2,185 males, and 48 people have died from the viral illness. The Public Health Lab has conducted 199,296 tests since February last year. As part of the national vaccination program, 97,243 first doses of the COVID-19 vaccines have been administered. The number of people who have received second doses and are fully vaccinated is 73,006. This figure represents 26.9% of the population. Health officials have been responding to some of the reasons people have been using to shy away from taking the COVID-19 vaccine. One of those is the fact that none of the vaccines currently being used worldwide prevent people from contracting COVID-19, nor do they halt the spread of the viral illness. Well, co-coordinator of the national program, Dr. Elizabeth Ferdinand, says the aim of the vaccine at this point is to dramatically slow down COVID-19.
So you're vaccinated, and you come into contact with somebody and you get it. Your disease or illness is mild or asymptomatic. If it is mild, you're not coughing, you're not spluttering, you're not spreading it as much as if you did not have the vaccine. And in addition to that, you're not getting ill to be able to be hospitalized, have to be put onto a ventilator.
It was revealed recently that people in the 25 to 35 age group are among the most hesitant about the vaccine, and Dr. Ferdinand says they need to be wary of taking this position.
They're ending up with the complications of COVID. And these complications, impotence, for example, in men is one of the complications. You think any young person who get it and find out after that he's impotent, they're going to wave a flag and say, hey, I had COVID and I'm impotent after it? No, that's something they're going to keep quiet, right? And there are people who are getting ill who have complications that give them illnesses after they've got better from the COVID. So they're what we call complications of the COVID that can last for the rest of your life.
The Barbados Association of Medical Practitioners has acknowledged the strides made by the country in vaccinating its population against COVID-19, but it says Barbados is not yet near herd immunity levels. Given this, its first Vice President, Dr. Dana Grandison, is encouraging people, including those who are fully inoculated, to ensure they continue to adhere to COVID-19 protocols. While speaking on CBC TV8's Face It and Fix It, she says in order for Barbados to return to normalcy, vaccination is important.
The time that you take to vaccinate your entire population and get everyone covered, once that increases, you continue to increase the possibility of the virus actually mutating and causing more severe variants to be formed. And so what we really want to encourage is that person present to get vaccinated, so that we can actually try to stall, or what we would call in medicine, starve the virus.
And in the face of the increasing number of COVID-19 cases, Dr. Grandison is stressing the need for genomic profiling and community surveillance.
The reason that BAM has really suggested not only PCR testing and surveillance monitoring, but most importantly, genomic sequencing, is so that we can not only know that we have COVID here on the island locally, but exactly what variants in the country we have and how are our persons, our population presenting. Certainly our environment is different, our genetic profile is different, our disease burden is different, and for every single population, how a disease affects that population will be different.
The World Health Organization wants support from all countries globally to work towards vaccinating at least 10% of their respective populations by the end of September. Barbados' vaccination campaign continues, and the island is reporting 26.9% of its population has already been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Well, Director General Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus sounded a word of caution, noting the pandemic is being mischaracterized as coming to an end. He says this is not the case and welcomed support for calls for an international pandemic treaty.
A working group of WHO member states is meeting to consider this idea and others to strengthen global health security. If the world continues down the same road, it will continue heading towards the same destination, which is an unsafe world, and another devastating pandemic is inevitable. We need a new approach and a new way of doing things. A treaty would provide a platform for closer international cooperation on preparedness, detection, and response.
Coming up on Newsnight, we'll tell you how local water sports operators are doing. Stay with us.
To facilitate some important work around our main transmitter and for the safety of the team, it will be necessary to shut down our transmitter on Saturday, July 17th between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. This means that all of our services will be off the air during these hours. This includes MCTV, CBC TV 8, 98.1 FM, 94.7 and Q100.7 FM. We do apologize for any inconvenience this may cause, and we thank you for your patience and understanding.
Anytime you want to see Level Voice on camera, want to know it got to be some kind of action. So let me get it right now real quick. This Saturday night, July 17th, is all about the Star Horn Party. Not just the Star Horn Party, the Coca-Cola Star Horn Party. And we're live on CBC TV 8, we're live on CBC Barbados Facebook and YouTube, and the action kicks off at 9 p.m. and we got real entertainment. Level Voice gonna be there, Shalom Papa Chair, see the entertainer gonna be there as well, Versi Well gonna be there, and we're gonna have a time. So ladies, I want to see one in the Zoom this Saturday night, July 17th, is the Coca-Cola Star Horn Party. I want to know if we can do real bad for CBC. Call for here.
Two men are in police custody assisting with investigations into a robbery at the Savings Plus supermarket in Rockdundo. That's according to Police Public Relations Officer, Acting Inspector Rodney Innes, who provided some details on the incident.
Police Operations Control received a telephone call informing of a reported robbery at establishment Savings Plus in Rockdundo. It was alleged that two persons had entered the establishment armed with a firearm and a cutlass and had robbed the individuals of a certain sum of monies. Now, we immediately responded. We were able to search the area, and we were successful in apprehending two suspects, two men of interest. We recovered a firearm and a cutlass, and those persons are in custody. At this stage, I'm not free to give any further information as our investigations continue. What I would say is the men, one is a 21-year-old, and one is a 26-year-old. Those identities will be revealed if and when those persons are charged with the offenses.
There's mixed fortunes in the water sports sector for local operators with the COVID-19 pandemic, but they're hopeful. Andy Burke traversed some West Coast beaches and spoke with a few operators about the ups and downs of the industry.
Moorings like this one here were parked along beaches for quite some time. However, they're now once again active as a number of water sports operators are back on the water. Keon Young, who works on contract with a nearby hotel, says there has been an uptick.
It started off really slow, but at least this week it picked up because a couple of kids came in. So that's looking more upwards. Hopefully everything stays safe and good and we can continue and it gets more busy, but it was really slow when we first started off.
And you work mainly for the hotel company?
Yes, we contracted to work through County Club.
One jet ski operator who preferred not to speak on camera and gave his name only as Lion King said it was rough for him since last year. But he recently got some relief with the tourists and also the locals who come at the weekend. He is hoping they won't have to return to last year's state when there was a lack of revenue. Not all operators have been quite as lucky. Some of them have had to stay on shore, while others do some repairs in the meantime, and others say it's been the locals who are keeping them afloat. Marvin Sobers has not been doing tours on his glass-bottom boat for a while now.
With all the protocols and lockdown, obviously it's not been a fun trip. the last year and a half. Me personally, I haven't done much business, and as you can see at the moment, I got my boat on dry dock doing some repairs to it. Yeah, so I was hoping to put it back in the sea maybe in the next week or so, but we gotta wait and see what's happening with the latest developments now and protocols again, and then cases about corona. Yeah, so that's where I am right now.
Other operators who also declined to be on camera said the local families have kept them afloat, coming for the jet ski rides and so on at the weekend. With 3 weeks of summer already having gone, others are anxious and hoping that there will be an uptick in business. Others are more concerned about the spike in COVID-19 cases. They're hoping for the best case scenario, and that is that they will be able to have a full resumption of all water sports activities. Wendy Burke, CBC News.
Thanks, Wendy. Well, the Barbados Museum and Historical Society has relaunched one of its most popular galleries with a modern twist, and this is as it seeks to provide entertaining and educational experiences to children of all ages. We have more in this story from Aaliyah Briggs.
The Explore exhibit in the Gyrus Booster Children's Gallery is the newest and most interactive attraction being offered at the museum. Deputy Director of the Barbados Museum and Historical Society, Kevin Farmer, says the exhibition offers a dynamic experience for children of all ages to understand the world through a Barbadian lens.
Anywhere from you being able to conduct digital surgery to exploring how using wind can cause various objects to fly. Try out your building techniques, learn how gears work, explore your environment and renewable energy, and also look at things under magnification.
In 1945, the Barbados Museum opened its first children's gallery in hopes of bringing the benefits of the museum to a wider range of people. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Senator Dr. Rumel Springer, says the gallery required an update to better serve today's children.
In 1992, the exhibition termed Yesterday's Children opened, which show what life for our children in Barbados was like through the years. It included toys, craft, games, and many other things that told the story of our upbringing. Though well loved by many, the gallery required an update to better serve today's children.
My favorite part is the puzzle where you have to put things on the wall to see if they match the environment.
I think the gallery is beautiful and fun, and that it is fun to go to.
The upgrade to the gallery was funded in partnership with the Maria Holder Memorial Trust. As he encouraged Barbadians to visit the gallery, Mr. Farmer revealed the Barbados Museum will be offering a number of attractive specials this summer. Aaliyah Briggs, CBC News.
Thanks, Aaliyah. Well, CBC will be carrying out some important work around our main transmitter, and for the safety of the team, it will be necessary to shut down our transmitter tomorrow between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. Well, this means that all of our services will be off the air during these hours. This includes MCTV, CBC TV 8, 98.1 The One FM, 94.7 FM, and Q100.7 FM. However, our radio streams will remain available via live stream. CBC apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause, and we thank you for your patience and understanding. Barbadians have yet another day and opportunity to lend support to local Hurricane Elsa victims. It comes as CBC will be continuing to facilitate the drop and drive here at our car park tomorrow. Marketing specialist Nicole Collins says there's been a positive response to the appeal. Now, come tomorrow, she says people can bring in any of the required items. And the Thanksgiving service for Warren Douglas Motley, brother to Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley, was held this afternoon at the St. Mary's Anglican Church, Tributes were paid in word and song and were rendered in appreciation and love to the husband, father, son, and brother. We'll take a break and come back.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Policyholders should ensure that the sum insured on their property reflects the rebuilding cost as new. In other words, you should not underinsure your property. Cooperators General Insurance, helping you to be prepared this hurricane season.
If you haven't got a policy, you haven't got a chance. This hurricane season, from June to November, if you're a policyholder, just collect and submit an entry form at any of our 3 locations and win monthly prizes. At the end, you could be one of 6 grand prize winners. Our partners, Carter's General Stores, JG's Wholesale, Trowel Plastics, Easy Pave, and MCTV. Cooperators General Insurance. Insurance the way you want it to be.
The curfew is back, but so is the Stand Home Party. This Saturday night, join us in the Zoom for live action as we bring to you the Coca-Cola Stand Home Party from 9 p.m. until midnight. Live on CBC TV8, CBC Barbados on Facebook and YouTube. Your DJs this Saturday night, JC the Entertainer, Sheldon Park, Versiwal, and Level Vibes. Hosted by DJ Ras. The Coca-Cola Stand Home Party is also sponsored by the Sunny Water, National Cultural Foundation, Flow, Banks Beer, Purity Bakeries, iExchange, Bico, Crispy Fried Chicken, Broad Street Men's and Women, the Limers Den Bar and Restaurant, and Alfalfa plus Sprinkle Punch. Come on.
Haitian police have arrested the head of security for the presidential palace as they investigate the murder of President Jovenel Moïse. More than a week after Moïse's assassination, many questions remain unanswered.
Investigators in Haiti are looking into whether the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse was an inside job. Now the man in charge of securing the presidential palace, Dimitri Herard, has been taken into custody for questioning. Months before the assassination, he reportedly made several visits to Colombia, where most of the suspected assassins are from. The detention follows a report from a Colombian TV news station claiming that interim president, Minister Claude Joseph, is a mastermind behind the assassination. Accusations the government says are outright lies.
The National Police formally denies the allegations in which Haitian and foreign investigators have supposedly found clues that link interim President Claude Joseph to the assassination of Jovenel Moïse.
The leading prosecutor says Haitians deserve answers about how the group appeared to easily infiltrate the president's residence on July 7th.
It's an embarrassment because to assassinate a president at his home where he lived is just terrible. At an international level, we're talking about murdering a president. It's embarrassing.
Colombian police says its initial investigation shows former soldiers were hired to capture the president and hand him over to U.S. drug enforcement authorities.
St. Lucia's top cop has announced changes to campaign rules as the country gears up for this month's election. We hear more from HTS.
Top cop Milton Daisy is urging less face-to-face interaction during political motorcades.
Authorities are worried about the spike in COVID-19 numbers following mass crowd campaign events over the weekend, which saw a number of supporters failing to comply with basic hygiene protocols. Law enforcement and politicians head back to the drawing board this week to find consensus on the rules for hosting campaign activities. Daisy encourages politicians to utilize other means of communication and refrain from traditional in-person campaign-style events due to the pandemic.
Send out a blast to supporters of the protocols even before, because generally it's expected that persons would be briefing the participants before. But if you do it even prior to assembling, so it would reduce the need for persons to be going to every individual and say, okay, you must observe protocols. Then there's the number of persons in vehicles must comply with COVID-19 protocols.
Authorities advise that vehicles line up for motorcades and not proceed in a parallel fashion. Additionally, supporters are to remain in their vehicles and only follow designated routes.
Bahamas opposition leader does not believe an early election will help the government. Philip David's comments come amid speculation that Prime Minister Hubert Minnis may not wait until next year when the vote is constitutionally due. Mr. Davis said the Prime Minister's back is against the wall, as we hear from our news.
The Progressive Liberal Party leader says he believes pressures related to the country's burgeoning debt, government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, and internal challenges facing the Free National Movement are likely forcing Minnis' hand when it comes to calling the next general election.
There's no doubt that the tea leaves read that the Prime Minister is about to call a snap election. But you have to ask yourself, why would what I call a power-hungry guy give up 9 months of his term? And my take on it is because his back is against the wall. They're having a hard time getting people to lend them money for their budget. As you recall, there's a $10 million debt. There appears to be no plan as to how to manage that debt, and that will cause the marketplace, the money marketplace, to be jittery to lend further monies.
Our news understands that Dr. Minnis instructed Free National Movement candidates during a Tuesday night meeting to go out and campaign because the next general election is coming. This news fueled speculation that an election could be called as early as August. Davis said he would not dismiss that possibility given the challenges the Minnis administration is facing.
He's being criticized by his own team members. He has a House Speaker that's not cooperating with him.
As the July 22nd date draws near for the reopening of the cruise sector in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Ministry of Tourism has been meeting with industry stakeholders. Minister Lindsay Grant says players must be made aware of their role going forward.
We are gearing up all the stakeholders, making sure everybody's on point, because this is very important for us. We don't want anything to go wrong, so we are crossing our T's and dotting our I's and ensuring that every single stakeholder who will come into contact with the cruise passengers know exactly what the protocols are. I can say, however, that these are bubble tours we are doing so that all the passengers coming off the ship are vaccinated. 98% of the passengers are, 95% of the crew. The crew won't be allowed to come off in the first 3 or 4 sailings, but the passengers are 98% vaccinated. They'll come into contact with only persons who are vaccinated in bubble tours.
Well, that's our regional roundup. Sports is next.
My brother Freddie's son Jr. tell me how chemicals and fertilizers on land affect the marine life on the coast. And my granddaughter Keisha, she's smart too. She showed me how to use sargassum seaweed as fertilizer on my farm. It's a new use for the seaweed, and I'm doing my part to use less harsh chemicals and protect the coast. I could see how what we do on land affects the people, businesses, and sea life on the coast. Keisha tell me to call it Race to Reef. With young people like them, the future of our coast in good hands.
Like Gloria, we can do our part to protect the coast from wherever we are. What we do on land can impact the coast. That's what Ridge to Reef means. The Coastal Zone Management Unit is working to sustainably manage our coastal spaces by mitigating the impacts of climate change for generations to come through updating the Integrated Coastal Zone Management Plan. From monitoring the coastal environment to enhancing coastal ecosystems, the CZMU is planning for a safer and more resilient coast. See more of what Gloria is learning on the CZMU and GIS social media. Play your part to manage and protect our coast, our home, our future. To view the updated ICZM plan and learn more, visit coastal.gov.bb/ICZM plan.
Sports time now, and we head over to the sports studio where Damien Best is standing by with all the evening sports. Good evening, Damien.
Yeah, good evening to you, Lisa. Good evening to our viewers and listeners out there. Going to start with some cricket news ahead of this evening's final T20 match between West Indies and Australia. Standing captain Nicholas Pooran believes the regional side is building a formidable team for the World Cup later this year. Pooran has led the squad in all 4 matches of the series, which the Windies lead 3-1, leaving Kieron Pollard on the sidelines to fully recuperate from a hamstring injury. Now, the Windies won the first game by 18 runs, the second and third matches by 56 runs and 6 wickets respectively, before losing in nail-biting Game 4 by 4 runs.
Yeah, I think we are very close to where we want to be. We are starting to get opening partnerships, which is 50 and above. We'll take that any day. The middle overs for the first 3 games, we batted really good. That's something that we adjust after the first series. We played that situation good. Last time we kind of faltered there a little bit, but that's fine. That's fine, but all in all, I think that the team is. We are getting there. If you could see in the end now, see Fabian Allen coming into the party now with, Polly out. He's playing that role wonderful for us. So that actually linking our batting now. I know we could depend more on Fabian Allen. So from, standing captain point of view, I believe we are getting there.
Well, regarding Andre Russell's inability to score the 11 runs for victory in the final over of Game 4, Pooran says the team supported his decision to keep the strike.
And the team thought that was the best decision for the team. Andre batting 6 balls, we know that's 2 hits. He's a 6-hitter. If he had hit 2 sixes, then everyone would say, that's the best decision. We backed him 100%, and we believe that he did the right thing.
Well, that 5th and final T20 starts in a few minutes' time. Live coverage on CBC radio station 94.7 FM. Well, West Indies have been drawn in a tough Group 1 for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2021, which will be played in Oman and the United Arab Emirates from the 17th of October to the 14th of November. The groups selected on the basis of team rankings as of 20th of March 2021 see defending champions the Windies pooled along with former champions England, Australia and South Africa in Group 1 of their Super 12s, with 2 qualifiers from Round 1 joining them. Group 2 will comprise former champions India and Pakistan, New Zealand, Afghanistan and the other 2 qualifiers from Round 1. Now, 8 teams will contest the first round, including automatic qualifiers Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, with the remaining 6 who booked their spot through the ICC Men's T20 World Cup Qualifier 2019. Ireland, Netherlands and Namibia join Sri Lanka in Group A, whilst Oman, PNG and Scotland will face Bangladesh in Group B. The Barbados Cricket Association has confirmed there will be no spectators allowed at Kensington Oval during the hosting of the West Indies One-Day International and T20 home series of matches. Earlier this week, CBC Sports reported that Kensington Oval Management Inc. was preparing the facility as if there would be no spectators due to the recent directive issued by the Ministry of Health and Wellness in Barbados. The matches affected include the ODIs against Australia on July 20th, 22nd, 24th, along with the T20s versus Pakistan set for July 27th and 28th. In the sport of kings now, Zagan lived up to the pre-race hype to win the feature race 9 on the all-time crop-over race day card at the Garrison Savannah today. Ridden by champion jockey Rashid Hughes, Zagan finished in 1 minute 05.6 seconds, going 1,100 meters.
And he sends them racing and quickly into stride. This Trini Aviator, so too is Gandalf. Dominus is sweeping by and has gone to the lead. Zagan would not let him go. He's gone after him. Then comes Joshua and Sir Jimmy is the back marker as they fly down the back stretch. And it is Dominus in front from Zagan. He's open off about a length and a half. Trini Aviator is in third. Then comes Gandalf. Pace is really hot. They've done the opening quarter in 24-1 as they go by the Brigade House. And it is Dominus in front from Zagan. Trini Aviator is tracking them in third. Gandalf is in fourth, Sir Jimmy fifth, and Joshua will see them all as they come within the quarter pole. And it is still Dominus in front. Zagan is circling on the outside. Gandalf is also coming with a run. Here they come spinning out in the turn, and it is set for a doozy. On the inside is Dominus. Zagan is on the outside. Trini Aviator is coming with a run, but it is Zagan who takes the ascendancy. Zagan is showing his class. Zagan is going to win it. Zagan wins it now from Dominus. Then came Trini Aviator. Sir Jimmy ran well for fourth. Then came Gandalf and Joshua in 1:05 and 3.
Lisa, that is the first half in sports. We've got more in the second.
Thanks, Amy. Looking forward to that. Up next on CBC's Newsnight is the Business Report.
Finding the right advertising for your business can be a headache. Let the professional team of account executives at CBC do that job for you.
Whether it's radio,
TV, or social media advertising,
we are here for you to make sure you get maximum reach for your advertising dollar.
And be assured that client satisfaction is our #1 priority.
Contact us today and let us show you how you can grow your business.
The numbers are growing, and by the end of this year, electric vehicles will account for nearly 8% of the vehicles in Barbados. Word of this from co-founder of Mega Power Limited, Simon Richards, during a meeting with key stakeholders from the public, private and non-governmental organizations to discuss Barbados' success implementing renewable and energy-efficient technologies.
For us, we've sold over 100 of these MGs in the last 12 months. Between now and Christmas, we've actually got another 108 on the way. So that represents around 6 to 8% of all new car imports on the grey and on the new market will end up being an electric car now. On top of that, the BYD electric buses, where the representatives and agents for BYD are also growing in numbers in Barbados.
Well, the electric vehicle officials said the vehicle is less expensive to operate.
They do not have an exhaust pipe, don't have a gearbox to go wrong, they don't have a cooling system that needs regular replacing. So yes, we have suspension and bearings, but apart from that, the maintenance is very, very simple.
Well, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a negative impact on the operations at local petroleum giant Sol. General Manager for Barbados, Roger Barrow, told CBC News that forecourt and backcourt sales were affected.
We've seen significant reductions in sales, both on the forecourt and our backcourt. As you know, for many months, some of the stores were closed, had reduced hours, and they weren't open on Sundays, and that has affected us significantly.
And now that the protocols have been relaxed, the general manager said the company's focus is on providing quality service to the customers.
Things have improved. They're not where they were pre-pandemic, nor where we would like them to be, because we still have a number of people working from home. When school was in, school was still a hybrid of remote and face-to-face. So, you know, it's going to be challenging. What we have as a business sought to do is ensure that we're able to deliver strong service for our customers and our respective stakeholders. And, you know, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital following through on this commitment is one of those activities.
Let's take a look now at how the stocks traded locally and regionally today.
In Jamaica, Victon Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares was the volume leader with 7,983,099 units, followed by Radio Jamaica Limited and QWI Investments Limited. In Trinidad and Tobago, Trinidad Cement Limited was the volume leader with 81,410 shares changing hands for a value of $268,653, followed by JMMB Group Limited. And here in Barbados, Government of Barbados Bonds Series F was the volume leader with 66,666 shares, followed by Government of Barbados Bonds Series B, which traded 21,994.
On the international business scene, two popular brands of sunscreen are being recalled after low levels of a chemical that can cause cancer was discovered in the products. CNN's Mandy Geither has more.
A warning from Johnson & Johnson recalling 5 of the company's Neutrogena and Aveeno sunscreen lines in the U.S. The products affected aerosol sprays with names Aveeno Protect and Refresh, Neutrogena Beach Defense, Neutrogena Cool Dry Sport, Neutrogena Ultra Sheer, and Neutrogena Invisible Daily. This includes all can sizes and SPF levels of these sunscreens. The company is urging those who have purchased these products to dispose of them. In a statement, the company explaining the voluntary recall was being done out of an abundance of caution after low levels of benzene were discovered in the products. Johnson & Johnson says the chemical could potentially cause cancer depending on the level and extent of exposure. Adding benzene is not an ingredient in its products, and the company is investigating what caused its presence. Johnson & Johnson says work is being done to remove these products from the market and a refund will be provided. The company says to call its Consumer Care Center at 1-800-458-1673.
And that's business for tonight. Weather is next.
We are appealing to all Barbadians who are owners of preferably furnished rental apartments or houses which are in good living condition. This is to facilitate those persons who have lost their homes during the passage of Hurricane Elsa and who are now in urgent need of accommodation. Interested landlords can contact the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs at 536 HOPE or 536-4673 with details of the location of your property. We look forward to your assistance in this national effort as we seek to assist our brothers and sisters in their time of need.
We bring the music, you bring the vibe, as we splash soca everywhere. Sweet and groovy, hype with pace, bashment and classics all over the place. It's Soca Everywhere, Sunday, July 18th at 9:30 p.m. on CBC TV 8, Bijan TV.
Curfew is back, but no worries, because the Stand Home Party is back too. Join us this Saturday night from 9 p.m. until midnight for the Coca-Cola Stand Home Party. Look out for yours truly, DJ Rasta host, level vibes in the building, Tracy the Entertainer, shut up, First you want as well. The Zoom is active, people, so turn on your cameras, join the Zoom, and get a chance to win prizes. Coca-Cola Stand Home Party, we're going Arctic. Turn it up low.
Weather news now, and to say good evening to Selma Green, who's going to give us a picture of what the weekend will be like. Selma?
Good evening to you, Lisa. And the weekend is looking as if we're going to have a mixed bag of weather. We'll see exactly why in just a moment. Today we had light rainfall, though, between 3 and 5.8 millimeters of rainfall across St. John, St. Andrew, and Christchurch. And that's because of this tropical wave that's headed our way. Moisture ahead of that wave has been causing conditions to be such that we got some showers, and it's going to be bringing us some more showers tonight and tomorrow. South of us, instability is impacting the Guiana still, and we have another tropical wave in the eastern Atlantic that we're keeping our eyes on. And in between the showers today, we did see a good deal of sunshine. It was warm today, the maximum temperature 30 degrees Celsius, and right now the temperature is dropped by 4 degrees. The cooling down process has started, but as we look across the region, we're seeing that temperatures are generally cooler tonight because of that tropical wave that's headed our way and the showers that is going to be bringing particularly to the Windward Islands and to us here in Barbados. Already the moisture levels are increasing across those islands, St. Lucia and Grenada in particular. And in terms of the winds, we saw gusty winds across Grenada earlier today, but tonight we're seeing stronger breezes flowing across Antigua as well as St. Lucia. And here is where those two tropical waves are positioned. The one in the far eastern Atlantic is along 28 degrees west, just south of about 10 degrees north. That wave is not due here till next week, and of course we'll keep monitoring it as it heads our way. But the wave at 50 degrees west is of more concern to us. As I mentioned, moisture ahead of that wave already invading our space. It caused some showers today, and it's going to be bringing more showers to the Windward Islands and Barbados tonight. We're expecting light to moderate shower activity. Of course, by tomorrow, the showers will spread to the Leeward Islands as well. For us here in Barbados, showers are anticipated. The upper atmosphere is still pretty dry at the moment, so we don't expect that there will be any thunderstorm activity. There were isolated thunderstorms across the Guianas today. The instability there is still prevalent because of convergence, so it was cloudy. There were some showers and isolated thunderstorms, and that trend will continue. And across the Western Caribbean, there's instability over most of Cuba as well as Jamaica. Showers and thunderstorms prevalent. There's a trough system that's affecting the northwestern section of the Bahamas and generating showers and thunderstorms there. And southeastern Bahamas is also getting some activity because of instability, and that trend will more than likely continue tonight and into tomorrow. That wave that's going to be leaving our area tomorrow will be taking showers to Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands by tomorrow. Sunrise for us is going to be at 20 minutes to 6, and the sun will set at 6:29. Our first daytime high tide tomorrow will be just after 9 o'clock, and the first daytime low a minute before 3. Seas will be moderate in open water. We're expecting normal sea swells. The winds have shifted and coming in directly from the east once again at between 30 and 35 kilometers per hour. Tonight, as I said, cloudy, There will be some breaks at time, but we're expecting a scattered light to moderate showers and an overnight temperature of around 24 degrees. And tomorrow, clouds and showers will persist. We will see improving weather conditions by afternoon. On Sunday and Monday, a mixture of sunshine and showers anticipated. And we leave you now with a final look at forecast weather conditions for our neighbors in the region and then for some selected international cities.
To facilitate some important work around our main transmitter and for the safety of the team, it will be necessary to shut down our transmitter on Saturday, July 17th between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. This means that all of our services will be off the air during these hours. This includes MCTV, CBC TV 8, 98.1 FM, 94.7 and Q100.7 FM. We do apologize for any inconvenience this may cause, and we thank you for your patience and understanding.
It's time for that second half in sports. So we go back over to the sports studio now. Damien, over to you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Lisa. Just a cricket update before we move on to let you know the West Indies, they have won the toss and opted to bat against Australia in that fifth and final T20 match at the Darren Sammy Stadium in St. Lucia. Moments ago, they were 40 for 1 after 4.1 overs. Andre Fletcher losing his wicket there for 12. We can tell you Chris Gill is on 4, Evan Lewis on 26. Live coverage on 94.7 FM. Well, as the Caribbean prepares to host the 2022 ICC Under-19 World Cup in January next year in the midst of a pandemic, the regional young squad continues to be hard at work. Speaking on this week's Line and Length show, head coach Floyd Reefer discussed what training has been like thus far.
From the beginning, we had a holistic program set out for the boys, which is science-based. What we did is put together a program, batting, bowling, and fielding. Also, we have the mental skills training, the nutritionist, the S&C program as well. So we have a total program running for the boys from January. Preparation has been going pretty good. It's difficult times now because of the situation that we're living in now. Unfortunately, that we have not gotten the boys together as yet. That will happen from August 1st. But what we do a lot of work remotely. We had to identify coaches throughout the Caribbean and S&C trainers throughout the Caribbean as well to help execute the program that we set up for the boys.
Reefer also says he's been monitoring the performances of the other teams as well.
All the teams, they have good teams. There's a lot of talent out there in the world. You see even Afghanistan. I was watching a game a couple of days ago. Afghanistan was playing, I think, with South Africa, and we saw the spinners. I mean, those boys are spinning the ball at pace. You know, so I don't want to pinpoint one particular team, but I think that there's a lot of talent out there in the world. And if you see how Afghanistan is playing cricket now, even in the leagues around the world, you see a lot of Afghanistan players getting opportunities to play inside the T20 leagues around the world. So everyone's cricket is developing, you know, the game is evolving, so you don't come to tournaments like these and take people for granted.
Well, behind the slogan, Go Barbados, Push It, Nanyo City in Japan has thrown its full support behind Team Barbados at the Olympic Games in Japan. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, an agreement was signed between the Barbados Olympic Association and the mayor of Nanyo City, which would see Barbadian athletes live and train for 2 weeks prior to the Olympics. However, with the onset of COVID-19, that has all changed, with no travel arrangements and protocols distancing athletes and officials from mixing outside the games area. With just 7 days to go before the start of the games, BOA President Sandra Osborne says the relationship between Nanyo and Barbados remains strong despite the setback.
We were very much looking forward to visiting you during our time in Japan, but unfortunately, the pre-games training camp and the post-games cultural activities had to be cancelled due to the pandemic. These cancellations have not, however, prevented the Barbados Olympic Association and our athletes from forming a strong bond of friendship with the residents of Nanyo City. We value this friendship and support and regret very much being unable to visit Nanyo City this year. Our country, Barbados, with a population of just over 285,000, culturally shares community values similar to Nanyo City. So we look forward to visiting you again someday soon and to cooperating in areas of mutual interest.
Finally, tonight's Olympic moment features Ambassador His Excellency Ryan Brathwaite.
Barbadian Ryan Brathwaite created history when he won the gold medal in the men's 110-meter hurdles at the 2009 World Championships in Berlin. Now at the Olympics in London 2012, he also made history when he qualified for the final, the first Bajan to make a hurdles final at an Olympiad, and he finished 5th in 13.40 seconds.
Set. It certainly is. Merritt got away well, so did Robles, but Merritt's coming away at the moment. Richardson going very strongly as well, and Robles has pulled up, and there is Merritt just coming away to be the Olympic champion. He's through to the tape, 12.94 again. Richardson gets the silver, and what about that?
London 2012 would be Brathwaite's final Olympic Games.
Lisa, that's our sports package tonight. It's back over to you.
Thank you very much, Damien. And when we come back, we'll bring you a report on the Thanksgiving service for Warren Motley, the brother of Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley. We'll be right back.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Morning Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morningbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
We bring the music, you bring the vibe, as we splash soca everywhere. Sweet and groovy, hype with pace, bashment and classics all over the place. It's Soca Everywhere, Sunday, July 18th at 9:30 p.m. on CBC TV 8, Bajan TV.
On July 2nd, Hurricane Elsa swept through Barbados as a Category 1 hurricane, wreaking havoc and causing many Barbadians to lose their homes and everything they held near and dear. To help in the rebuilding process, the Ministry of Labor and Social Partnership Relations has launched the Hurricane Elsa relief effort. As part of this effort, a drive and drop will be held at the CBC car park on Friday, July 16th and Saturday, July 17th from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. each day. Barbadians are being asked to give generously to this drive and drop initiative. Items which will be accepted at the CBC drive and drop include toiletries, cleaning supplies, household items, toys, books, stationery and non-perishable food items. Barbados, let's lend a helping hand to our brothers and sisters who need our help now.
The Thanksgiving service for Warren Douglas Motley, brother to Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley, was held this afternoon at the St. Mary's Anglican Church. Wendy Burke tells us tributes in word and song were rendered in appreciation, tribute and love to the husband, father, son, brother, attorney, historian, sports enthusiast and avid Arsenal fan who exemplified discretion and loyalty in all he did.
It was a love letter written by a wife and two daughters which eulogized Warren Douglas Motley. Wife Sean, supported by daughters Emmanuel and Lauren, along with Warren's mother, Amor Lady Motley, fondly spoke of how they met in Jamaica and she fell in love with the handsome debonair man. She said Warren's love for her and the girls was a bond which made them inseparable and they always ate meals together. His thoughtfulness and incredible devotion were in all he did, and he made everyone he encountered feel appreciated.
Warren made everyone feel special. I find myself saying to so many people, Warren loved you, and it is the truth. He managed to do that because he loved with the biggest of hearts.
The love he shared for family was also expressed in this performance of a Jamaican folk song.
Me love will never done. Me love will never done. Shining like the sunshine, only for you.
And the Lord's Prayer by Gabby.
Thy kingdom come.
Prime Minister Motley spoke with great fondness of her sibling, who she said was a man who was at ease being himself.
Because it is always that ease of being himself that represented Warren. He didn't try to be somebody that he wasn't. He was who he was, and he was happy to be who he was.
Sister Elan remembered the mischief they got up to together and how, as her best friend, that bond continued throughout her life.
Climbing trees, picking plums, raiding Mrs. Brown's flask that came in with food. Didn't matter what we had there, Mrs. Brown's food was always better. And we just had an incredible, fun upbringing there.
The youngest sibling, Stuart, delivered a poem on behalf of their mother.
Blessed to be your mother, and I love you even more. One of the last things you said to me, Mommy, hold my hand. Thank you, Mommy. No words were needed for me to understand, like I am confident you would know. In this life or the next, I will never let go.
Canon Isaacs reminded those in mourning that none of life's afflictions is permanent, as hope is always alive.
The psalmist puts it in a nice way when he says, heaviness may endure for the night, but what? Joy comes in the morning.
Renowned saxophonist Arturo Tapin also gave his cousin a send-off. As the family exited the church, which has a very small audience due to the COVID protocols, and the family's request, Biggie Irie sang a final farewell.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right.
Wendy Burke, CBC News.
Tonight, continue following us on TV8 and on our social media platforms, as well as our radio stations at 98.1, 94.7 and 100.7 FM. That's news. Good night.